Does your horse fall in on the circle when you're riding? I have a special tip I want to share with you on how you can get your horse to stay out in the circle using a simple cue. I'm Julia and you're watching my weekly show here at the EQ Network. Now, oftentimes riders will refer to this as the horse dropping their shoulder, and while it does feel like the horse is dropping their shoulder, they really can't, because this is all held on by a ton of muscle. So what really happens is they're just sort of falling in and actually rotating at their rib cage. The key for solving this problem is making sure that we first have enough push from the hind end to transfer the energy up through the horse's spine, up through their top line, and then into the bridle. I'm going to be showing you the cues that I use with my horse Rumba to work through this problem. So we're going to go out here on the trot. And right there, she falls in and just sort of bulges with this left shoulder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift straight up with my left rein. I'm going to add a little bit of my inside leg until I feel her take a step over with her hind end. So I'm going to wait for it. There. So what she's doing in those moments is, again, stepping deeper underneath herself with the inside hind leg, and what's happening is the ribs on her right side of her body are getting further apart, while the ribs on the left side are getting closer together. So same thing there, just gonna lift, might wiggle my fingers a little bit, so she just comes into a little better frame. Again, lift, and what I'm also doing is I'm opening a bit to the inside. I'm sort of inviting her to turn the left side of her cheek just into me while keeping her body out. So again, lift, open, and push with my inside leg. Now when I'm using my leg cue, I'm using small squeezes of my inside leg to cue her. So there. Again, wiggle a little bit so I get her in a little better frame. And then she stretches down through her top line. I have a nice bend, and we're staying out on the circle. Now, if you have a green horse or a horse that has this pattern really hardwired in, what I would recommend is putting them along the fence. So what you can do is, if the fence was right beside me, I would do the same thing using the same cues I just went through in motion. So I'm going to open and lift what would be on the inside of the bend, so the direction that I want her sort of nose and to be able to see her eye. That's the inside of the bend. So I would open and I would lift, and I would just press a little bit with that inside leg. When you do this along the wall, it's creating a physical boundary so the horse can't fall in. And then as soon as you get even just one step of that movement that you're looking for, let the horse walk out of it. We really want to build this in small steps, because it can be a lot physically for the horse if they're green or you've just started doing this sort of work with them. So again, just look for one step at a time. Use the fence or the wall if you're working in an indoor to just build that cue in your horse. Once you're getting that response pretty easily along the rail, then you can come out and work in the circle like we just did there. So I hope this answers your questions. If you have trouble with your horse falling in onto their shoulder or dropping their shoulder, leave a comment down below. If you give this a try, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in next week's video. Happy riding.